Sirs, Marms, ladies and gents, this is Daniel Kennedy from the KML Group and Home Hug Limited and Steadfast Construction and Design. Today we're going to be talking about, on our Wednesday Dose of Wealth Wisdom, the podcast. We're doing it more sporadically now because I'm running out of content, to be perfectly honest. And the topic today is going to be why you should be slow and steady wins the race, and be a bit sort of non-reactive to what the market's doing. So we all know now, if you're watching this video, I believe property is a long-term game. Anyone who's successful and involved in property believe it's a long-term game. So when you're getting involved in property and you're thinking about scaling up, going to the next level, very often a few folks can feel a bit overconfident and overzealous of their abilities, and we're all human, we all make mistakes, and some people do actually kill it, but you should compare yourself to the average rather than the outliers. And there's a few people who are involved in property who do really well. They expand at an exponential rate, and very often we can compare ourselves to those people and think, why aren't I doing as much as those people? Why aren't I able to achieve as much as those people? But for me, I think you need to go slow and steady, especially with refurbs. As if you're coming from another industry, you're going to get told that you already have the skills to do it. You already have the people skills to do it. You already have the people around you. If you're in a high position in another industry, you'll fit right into property, and that's not the reality. The reality is there is an absolute slaughter of new investors that have their pants down, from builders, from contractors who take advantage of their naivety, their inexperience, and the fact that they might have a lot of cash from if they're coming into the property business, because it's a very cash intense business. And if you get it wrong, and you will get it wrong, I think that the line that you should draw, you should expect to get ripped off. You should expect people to take advantage of you. You should expect people to try and push that price up a little bit more when involved in refurbs. And so before you become educated, before you learn how to handle these situations and know what the cost of certain things are, you need to do small deals. And a lot of people don't want to hear that because there's less meat in small deals. But you're going to make the mistakes, and the mistakes are going to cost you money. And hopefully you'll carry those lessons through to the larger developments. And the reason why I'm just talking about this subject is because recently somebody said I'm very, very lucky. And it didn't sit well with me because they don't really understand the story or the journey. And it's been a succession of mistakes, and really, really big mistakes. And it's only recently that we've come out of those mistakes, and these next few deals are going to sort of like pave over the previous ones. And that is all because of the huge mistakes we made. And the mistakes are just as good as teaching us how to do and extract more value from the future deals. And I'm really kind of glad that they happened, because we wouldn't have what we have now if we hadn't have gone through the path of like being ripped off, and like having somebody with the gift of the gab really sort of push up the prices of jobs that really shouldn't have been that expensive. And some people now, as we expand our business and we go out and we offer more services, I can see, like, it would now, being on the other end and doing it for other people, it would be so easy to just add 20k extra, 30k extra, because most people have, especially the new guys, they have no sense of what things cost and what things are worth. And it's only really sort of the motivation of not really wanting to make much money in the construction business, just have the team for my jobs, that means they've got really, really good deals, to the detriment of myself a little bit now. So we're sort of evening it out. But very often people will jump into the property circle and they'll totally leverage every little bit of information and knowledge, and I don't think that's a good thing. So if you are completely naive and you have a team around you, you may be paying the consultants, but then you've got to think, what is the consultant's motivation? Is it to give you the best deal, or is it to get that fee? Is it to get that money from you? Is it to extract that bit of wealth for them? Because there's no one in this world that works for free. There's no one in this world that works for other people for nothing. Like, there's no magic land where people are looking out for you. Everyone is looking out for themselves. And the only reason you're going to be able to really create worth or create value for people is if you make yourself a useful person. And that's what I find. And the reactions of people to you when you're able to help them with something. It's very different from people who think you can't help them or don't know your story. And the reason why it's really, really important to just sort of take that step back and assume that there are people have biases and the motivation isn't to help you and they're not like God's gift to the industry. Have a bit of sort of, don't take somebody's first, like whether they got the gift of the gab, because this project that I'm doing down south, the person that I'm doing it for, I'm managing the builders, and they're like, oh yeah, they're really good builders, they're really great builders, I'm really impressed with them. And already I'm thinking, well, listen, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how many pictures they give you. It doesn't matter how confident they are. You've got to use them, make sure that they're on time work, make sure they're doing like fair amounts of work for the amount of money that you pay them, make sure they're on site all the time. After the job, that's when you say they're good. Don't, just because they're friendly and they're joking and they've got good sort of social dynamics with you. I could see this person being completely ripped off by these builders if I wasn't involved. It's just clear as day. Hasn't got a clue of what things should cost. And we've already like sort of hammered down on a couple of things. And now it's going to be a fairly good price for the refurb, but without that person sort of thinking, oh, right, I don't fully understand this. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'll pull Dan in and we'll make sure that the end result is what she wants. And that's sort of like the swings and roundabouts of leveraging other people. Because if I wanted to, I could easily just inflate the price. I really think it would be very easy because of the inexperience. But you've got to go through that process of learning. And this is a very small job. So hopefully what will happen is this person will get loads of information and education from seeing how a project works and how it sort of progresses. And then they'll take that forward into a bigger job. And there will still be little mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And they won't cost as much and you can recover from them. So the whole go big or go home is really sort of, you shouldn't apply that to your property business, because one bad deal is a hell of a lot worse than no deal at all. There's nothing wrong with sitting on your cash, not finding a deal that's within your sort of capability. And I would try and divert from JVing. The go-to theme seems to be JV if you want to go bigger. And I don't like, the more people that are involved, the more people that you have to placate, the more people that have their wants, needs and desires that need to be sort of managed, and it just gets really, really complicated. Try and keep it as small as you possibly can, and I think that's a lot better in terms of your ability to deliver, your ability to manage expectations, your ability to keep those relationships going, and your ability to sort of address any issues. Because if you've only got a few people who you work with, then you've only got a few issues from those people that they generate. And the summary of the video is, you shouldn't trust people at their first word. Like, everyone has an agenda, and I cannot tell you the amount of people who've told me I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, and then you just do a quick company house search and they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing but they're teaching. They're doing nothing but they're raising money. They're doing nothing but they're trying to JV with people. They're doing nothing and they haven't done anything, and they're trying to project manage for other people. I don't know anyone who's been in the industry for a long time that hasn't got burnt. So you manage the expectation that you are going to get screwed. You are going to make mistakes. But if you do small deals first and you have your education and your lessons, and we all, like, no amount of teaching is going to teach you the lessons. Because I got told what I know now, and I didn't pay any attention to it until I experienced it myself. I've told people what I've experienced, and they've gone on and done the same bloody mistakes. And now they won't do it. It just seems to be a trend. A lot of us are really, really, really bloody stubborn. So expect to make mistakes, guys and girls, and expect to lose money. So slow down the deals. Do smaller deals to begin with. Learn those lessons on those deals. And then when you've got enough knowledge and enough sort of panache about you to be able to create teams, there's no stopping you, because once you build contingencies into those teams, you're a lot less sort of exposed, and you're not as in a risky position as you previously were. And then also, moving on to the JV partners, I would try and not to work with as few people as possible. Try and learn all the skills yourself and then contract it in. Have a clean break from that person. And if they turn out to be really, really good and it works, great, just keep contracting them in. You don't need to give half away of your business. You don't need to give half away of a property. You don't need to give half away of the income or half of the future capital appreciation. There's so many people that want to try and JV. And this is, I get a lot more people asking to JV than I do to raise money. I get a lot more people asking to JV than I do wanting to work with us for free. I get really random requests. But you've got to realize money is not really too difficult to get hold of. Once that money comes with somebody's sort of expectations of you, and everyone's going to have expectations. I can't count the amount of times I've spoken to someone and said I had a JV partner that went wrong. Everyone in this industry that I speak to on a regular basis has been screwed over by somebody or in some form of like whether that's someone taking money out of the business, whether that's somebody stealing deals, whether that's somebody stealing tenants. It just seems to be a bit of a cutthroat business. So be reserved. Don't be too quick to jump into bed with somebody. And also check somebody out. Do due diligence on what people say. So if I say I've got a construction team, don't believe it until you've seen evidence, facts, and it's quantifiable. So all these Facebook posts, maybe I'm just the main contractor and I'm contracting it out. I could be full of absolute crap. I could have actually nobody on the books. So search for the company, see where it's based, see how long it's been. If you're wanting to hire, that's a good way to do due diligence. And that's the same sort of process you need to follow through. If you're going to work with anybody, if somebody's going to do project management for you, or you're going to do it for them, somebody's going to raise money from you, or you're raising money for them, don't trust what they say. Watch what they do and do a background check, because there's lots and lots of stuff out there on the public forum that you can check up on people, and you'll be really, really surprised at how much information is out there. So like, if somebody knows what they're doing, they can find out every property we own, how much debt we have on each property, how many tenants we have. They can see how, if they're really, really good at this, see how full we are, how occupied we are. So when I say, oh, we're full, they'll be able to check, or and then say, no, you're not actually, because you're advertising here, and here. They'll be able to see what length our mortgages are and when they're coming to term, and the fixed rate, and how much it cost us to go in and the cost that it took us to come out. This is all on company's house. They'll be able to see tax returns, how much money we make. So if I say we're not making any money, and then suddenly the tax returns comes out, it says, oh, actually you're in quite a lot of gross profit, and then they'll be able to find that out. Or alternatively, if I said I'm making loads of money and then my tax return comes out and then I'm not making anything, they'll be able to see that. And so don't rely on somebody who has really lots of charisma, lots of sort of the gift of the gab, really, really likable, really trustable. Make sure you do due diligence on them, and that's my view. And I know it's very, very negative. And for somebody who networks a considerable amount, I don't trust anyone at their word. I check on everything and anyone who says something, because I'm just nosy. If somebody says, oh, I'm doing this, I'll find out if it's true or not. And then if it's not, I'll just know never to work with that person. And more people are in the category of I'm never going to work with them than are in the category of I would work with them. And that's because I've just done some checks and remembered what they've said. So I'll say that again. More people are in my book of never work with them than are in the book of, I would do business with this person. And I can count on both hands the people that I would really, really trust and I'd be happy and I don't check up on. And once people have gone through that hoop as well, of me doing their due diligence, I'll trust them with anything. I'll believe anything they say, because I've already done the sort of match what they're telling me with what the evidence tells me. And that creates really fruitful relationships, because with those people, some I lend money to, some lend money to me, some pass me contacts for business, I pass them contacts for business. And this is why very, very rare you'll hear me recommend somebody. But if I do, they've gone through this process, I've used them, I've used their services, and it's a recommendation from me or a recommendation from the inner core team is really, really powerful. It brings a lot of business, and we pass a lot of business to each other. And so that's why you should have a really close circle. Don't let people into your life, like in your inner circle, too quickly. Like be very, very guarded about who you let in and who you show what you do and who you trust and who you build businesses with. And I'm hoping I'm kind of getting it right. I've got it wrong in the past many times. Like, I've gone through more partners than I have hot dinners. For those of you who've been watching some of the videos, like, they've gone on really different paths. And then you kind of have to look at yourself, like, is it me that's the issue? Or is it the fact that they didn't have as much sort of like desire, want and need to get involved in the industry? And that's my take on it, guys. So thank you for joining me. I know there's a few of you on. A bit of a negative video, but it's based in truth and it's based in experience. And the reason we've got such a sort of synergistic relationship with all our companies now is because we've been screwed over through every aspect, and we've had to take control of different aspects of the company, the raising finance, the sourcing, the construction team, and now it's becoming quite a sort of self-sustaining group. But it's taken a long time to get there, and even, I say it countless times, we still haven't made too much money because we pay back the investors. We don't take money out of the company. People assume that we're lucky, we're really blessed. They don't understand the work and the mistakes, and you shouldn't really like, my advice, if we've done it really badly, we've made horrible mistakes on past deals, and we're only going to get out of them through inflation. It's going to take a long time for some of our deals for us to pull all our money out. Some deals have been really fruitful, and these next ones will cover up the debacles of the past. But so don't assume that it's all bright and rosy on social media. Right, thank you for joining me. I hope you got some value out of that. If you think I'm wrong and you think synergistically working with people is the best way to expand, and you really buy into that, like, you go further when you're together, or there's no I in team and all that, and then drop us a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Cheers.